Yes, sir, we have received it.
Okay. So the topic we are looking at this afternoon is business environment, which it was titled in the syllabus by ICANN as environmental analysis. So that's what we are looking at briefly. This business environment that we are talking about this afternoon, will I say it is two-in-one topic. The reason being that the business environment is a topic on its
Sir,
own.
can you please project your screen? Is it possible to?
Can I do what?
Is it possible to project your screen so that we can read along with you?
It is very, very possible, but where I am now, I'm just using this opportunity to quickly have the lecture. That's the reason why I sent the material for lecture today. I send it as Word now, not PDF, so that it will be easier for you to open. You don't have any logistic. Or are you having any difficulty in opening the study material for today?
No, sir.
You're having difficulty? No, please check it and open it. I've put it on the platform.
We can open it, sir.
You can open it, okay. So can we start the lecture?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Like I was saying,
there's a background noise. So.
Background noise here. Maybe from
I don't know
your
if it's
side.
from you.
No.
Maybe other people.
Please, you can. Yes, you can unmute, please. Are you okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it the topic that we are looking at this afternoon? Like I told you earlier, it's business environment and Potter's diamonds and theory. When you look at the link that was sent to you, the topic was titled business environment. If you have it as business environment in the exam, fine. If you have it as marketing environment, if that was what the examiner used, fine. And if you have it as environmental analysis, the way it was stated in the syllabus and other study material that you can have here and there, is still the same thing. Business environment, marketing environment, corporate strategic environment, environmental analysis, they are still the same thing. And I told you that this topic is a blessing in disguise because it is two-in-one. Why is it two-in-one? The reason being that environmental analysis that we call business environment is a topic on its own. But when we are analyzing the external business environment, I can condition it that students should note that in the analysis of the external business environmental model, they might ask them to analyze using Potter's diamonds theory. And that's the reason why I took that initiative to add Potter's diamonds theory now. So ordinarily, Potter's diamond theory is supposed to be a topic on its own. But since it has been required under this topic in the model, so the best we can do is to treat it here. So it won't be strange to you. So that's what the underlying background information that I want to give you. So to start with, what do we call business environment? What is the nature of the business environment? The business environment refers to the environment where organizations carry out their day-to-day routine business activities in order to achieve their prestated goals and objectives within stipulated time. This environment determines the organization survival, growth, development, success, and competitiveness. So the ability of an organization, corporate entity, to interact with its immediate environment go a long way to determine the success and sustainable performance of the company. It even go a long way to determine the degree of success or failure of the company. Business environment, as we all know, comprises of a lot of stakeholders. These stakeholders are what we call the environmental forces. The environmental forces in a business environment comprises of the customers, the vendors, the competitors, the government, the investors, the economic conditions, just to mention few. All these environmental forces, we are going to classify them later as our lecture unfolds. So the business environment that we are talking about comprises of opportunities and threats. That is OT. When you are familiar with SWOT analysis too, you know that in the SWOT analysis, the O and T there refers to opportunity and threats, which are external to the organization. It is this opportunity and threats that determine the success and failure of the organization. Why? Why? Because any organization that have the strategic capability, utilize their limited resources effectively, and can identify and exploit external business opportunities, then such organization, they are bound to succeed, irrespective of the challenges in the environment, irrespective of the complexity of the business environment. So ability to identify and utilize business opportunity guarantee to some extent organization success. And if you even help the company to be able to cope or adapt with the dynamics changes in the business environment. However, any company that fail to identify and utilize the business opportunity and allow themselves to be subdued with environmental threats, challenges, uncertainties, such companies are bound to fail. And that's the reason why it is very crucial for us to interact, identify, and utilize opportunities in the business environment in order for us to have sustainable performance and continuity in business. If that overview is clear to us, I will quickly let you know that the business environment that we are talking about can be relatively static. At times the environment can be static. This will create a lot of problem for all the investors. The industry will look unattractive. Nothing is working. Just like the present harsh economic conditions that Nigeria find herself now. The rich also cry. A lot of companies, including multinational companies, are folding up. Some are leaving this country because of unfriendly government policy, multiple taxations, inflation, and some other stringent unpalatable conditions. All these things streamline the profitability of the organization and ability to continue. So the business environment, I've told you, can be relatively static. It can be dynamic. It can change over time. That changes can bring positive benefit, and at times it can bring about some form of disadvantages to the organization. So it can be static, it can be dynamic, it can be complex. The business environment can be turbulent. Irrespective of the nature of challenges that we are facing in the business environment, ability to adapt to various environmental challenges and uncertainties make a company to achieve going concern. So that ability to adapt will give you a survival opportunity, and it will help the company to remain in business. The business environment assists companies to make some strategic decisions. At the same time, we see in the material where I say that the business environment too help companies to effectively utilize their limited resources, because all these resources are not abundant. You can even see Nigeria, that we call the giant of Africa and what have you. We have mortgaged this country because the country continue to borrow money from China, borrow from USA. Why are we borrowing? How come Nigeria do not have sufficient capital to carry out their fiscal and monetary policy? It's not because no nation and no individual or corporate entity have any resources in abundance. So business environments assist organizations to effectively utilize their resources on profitable business. And the business environment helps us to know that the environmental forces might be favorable and unfavorable. And as a result of that, there is need for us to do constant environmental scanning. That's the stand clear to us, please. I want to know before we proceed. Hello? My learned student, are you there? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I continue, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because your understanding matters, not just to talk here and there. So that anytime you are reading this note, anytime you are listening to this voice note, even while the exam is at the corridor too, it will be easier for you to write convincingly on this topic. So I'll bring it down to your level. Let's proceed by looking at the purpose of environmental analysis. I've just mentioned two now, because of the limited time, I may not be able to spell out all the reasons why we are studying business environment. So what is the purpose of environmental analysis? We said earlier, one, the major purpose of environmental analysis is for us to identify and exploit business opportunity. Another purpose is for us to effectively utilize the company resources. Another purpose of environmental analysis is for us to do constant environmental scanning. And what's the essence of this constant environmental scanning? The essence of the constant environmental scanning is for the company, even individual businessmen, small and medium enterprises, and emerging companies. When you engage in constant environmental scanning, it will give you opportunity to know trends in the market, latest developments in the market. It will give you access to information and data analysis. You can be able to have access to data about the customers, the competitors, the market itself. And why environmental analysis? It will give us to know reasons why we have to adapt. But it is not at all time the company use standardized policy or strategy. It is not at all time the company produce standardized products and sell across boundaries. No. There are some circumstances, it might be cultural, the social factors, or the lifestyle, or the government policy in some states, regions, or international marketing that will constrain you from using standardized method of business. So there will be need for you to adapt. So that's the reason why I put the key drivers of change. The key drivers of change might be cultural factors. For instance, now, McDonald's, they are trying to stabilize in Asia now. To me, because I follow all these things very well, they are achieving a relatively stable business climate now. But from the beginning, when they diversify geographically to Asia, precisely China and Japan, they are having a turbulent business environment that does not allow them for them to use their franchise business strategy. They are having difficulties in the area of customers patronage. Why? All because by the time McDonald's diversified to China, they serve meat pie and some other related products that they use cow to produce. You know, some of the tea they produce for the Chinese, nobody is patronizing them. It was later when they carried out environmental scanning, survey, and marketing research, they now discovered that cow was a sacred in Asia, particularly some part of China and Japan. They worship cow. Some worship snake. As a result of that, they cannot eat cow. So what the company now do for them to overcome these environmental challenges is to serve chicken pie and fish pie in lieu as a replacement for meat pie. That is one of the adaptability that we are talking about in the business environment. So the business environment at times will dictate the strategic approach that the company is going to use. So that's one of the purposes where we are studying it. Another purpose where we study or analyze the business environment is for the company to achieve survival, sustainable growth, and improved performance. So the reason why we study business environment are many, and some of these things have been stated there. So having look at that, then we look at the analysis of the business environmental process. So in the analysis of the business environmental process, all we just need to do is for us to study the business environment very well. Ensure that the business environment is studied. And once you study this environmental environment, carry out detailed SWOT analysis. Your detailed SWOT analysis internally, we look at the strengths and weaknesses of the organization, and externally, we look at the opportunity and threats. So the opportunity are something that are favorable to the organization that the company can leverage on to achieve further improve performance. So in the business analysis process, the company have to ensure they identify and categorize the environment where they operate and do their business. Please note, there are two types of business environments. We have two types of business environment. The two types of business environment that we have are internal environment, and we have the external environment. In the business environmental forces, we have two types of business environment. Note, the first one is internal business environment, and the second one is external business environment. I think that one is a little bit skipped here. I will notice, do that correction and send it to you back to the platform. I have to emphasize on that in the study material. So I will do that immediately after this lecture and resend to the platform. The two types of business environment that we have, can jot it down. We have two types, that is internal business environment, and we have the external business environment. Please note that for me, please. Immediately after this lecture, I will quickly do a line or two or three line statement on that, explain it, and send it back to the platform. I emphasize that there are two types of environmental forces, business environment. We have one, internal business environment. You can hear my keyboard that I'm trying to do that adjustment. Internal business environment, and we have two, external business environment. So let's take the first one, that we have as internal business environment. Internal business environment. The internal business environment is also called micro business environment. Internal business environment is also called micro, M-I-C-R-O. Micro business environment, comma, tax environment, T-A-S-K, tax environment, or we call it controllable business environment. We have two types of business environment. The two types of business environmental forces that we have are one, internal business environment, two, external business environment. So taking the first one that we have as internal business environment, I said the internal business environment comprises of the internal forces that affect the organization performance. Again, the internal business environment comprises of the internal forces that affect the organization performance. These forces pose a lot of challenges and threats to the realization of the company's predetermined objectives. The internal forces, if neglected, they are capable of retrogressing the progress of the organization. As a result of that, proactive approach and measures have to be put in place to prevent the havoc that the internal environmental challenges can cause. Typical examples of the internal business forces are the employees of the company, the shareholders, the stakeholders, the customers and the vendors, including the set objective of the company. So how come the objective that the company set can create internal tension, disequilibrium? How come the objective that the company sets, despite the fact that it has been approved by the board of directors, can create internal challenges for the company? Yes, the objective of the company, if it is not set within the framework of SMART, S-M-A-R-T, such objective can create internal disequilibrium and crisis for the company. That's the reason why companies and individuals are advised that anytime you are setting your objective, let your objective fall within the framework of SMART, S-M-A-R-T. That S means that your objective has to be specific or simplified. The objective of the company has to be measurable. The objective of the company has to be attainable. That is the A in the SMART. The objective of the company too needs to be realistic. It must not be too ridiculous. The objective of the company too must be time-bound. Time-bound means that there should be stipulated time within which the company desires to achieve the set objectives. So if the objective of the company is set after this, then it can create a series of challenges for the organization. So the internal business environment, in summary, is also called micro, tax, or controllable business environment. They are called controllable business environment because they are forces that occur within the organization, which the company can manipulate and maneuver. The internal business environment are capable of affecting the overall performance of the company. As a result of that, they must not be neglected. Any challenges that come from the internal business environment, we have to address it swiftly before it degenerates to another bigger problem. For instance, our staff might be demanding for increase in their salary, working conditions, and some demands. We don't have to neglect this. The representative of the management and that of the workers, must meet on the round table to do collective bargaining to achieve win-win situation and see how these their mandates can be met. If at all we cannot meet the 100%, this one will give them the reassurance of hope and perceive organizational trust. You don't have to wait till the time they are threatening to go on strike, writing petitions, that can even have the operational activities of the company. So the internal forces comprises of the employees, the stakeholders, the vendors, the set objective of the company. So having a look at this, then we quickly look at the external business environment. The external business environment, this you can scroll down. You will see where I put scanning the environment. Have you seen it, please? Let me know. Because I'll quickly do some adjustments with this note and resend the platform very soon. The external business environment, as stated in the syllabus, ICANN stated categorically that all students are required to know and have the ability to explain the external business environment using acronyms. And then I say acronyms, specifically pestle analysis. You can know other acronyms when you read literatures, textbooks, online materials, Pathfinders. You see so many acronyms that you can use to explain external business environment. But I've checked and followed the trend that each time I can set question on the external business environment, they take to their promise that this pestle analysis, they are using it frequently. Year in, year out, anytime question comes out on business environment. So that's more reason why I want to limit our external business environment framework using pestle analysis. If not, we'll have used the light of GPS analysis, bypass analysis, SLEP-DC, and many more. So scanning the environment, pestle analysis, we are going to use this for the external business environment. So let's quickly do justice to that. The external business environment is also called macro business environment or uncontrollable business environment. External business environment, we call it macro, M-A-C-R-O, or uncontrollable. They are called macro business environment because they are complex. And they are referred to as uncontrollable business environment because they are difficult to be controlled by governments, individuals, corporate entities, investors, and shareholders. The external business environment comprises of institutional forces that occur outside the organization, which series of an achievement of their forecasted performance. So because they are external to the company and not internal challenges, companies always find it difficult to control them. But at the same time, we can formulate policy or strategy to cope and adapt with a series of unpredictability and uncertainties of the external business environment. The external business environment can be explained by using the Pestel analysis of framework that I've told you. The Pestel analysis of framework means that the P in that Pestel, P-E-S-T-E-L, that is Pestel. And if they bring L before E, we call it PES2. I just turn on your intelligence. It's still the same thing. So in explaining the Pestel analysis, you must first of all know what that alphabet stands for. And that's the reason why you are seeing that conceptual framework, that diagram, where they link together. The P in the Pestel implies political forces. E means economic forces. S, social forces. And if you like, you can put it as socio-cultural forces. That is S. T, technological forces. E, ecological forces. That some people call environmental forces, ecological forces. The L there means legal forces. That's what we call Pestel analysis. P for political, E for economic, S for socio-cultural forces, T for technological forces, E for environmental or ecological forces, and the last one, L for legal forces.
Sir, please repeat, sir.
Okay, the Pestel acronym or framework, Pestel, P-E-S-T-E-L, stands for P, political forces. And if you put it as political factors, still okay, nobody will query you. You're right. P for political forces, E for economic forces, S for social forces. And I told you, if you put it as socio-cultural forces, you are still in line. That shows that you have in-depth understanding of this particular topic. The T is for technological forces. I can simply put that technology forces. The E, second E, because we have two E's there. That one is environmental or ecological forces. While the last alphabet L implies legal forces. So we are going to explain the Pestel analysis now, so that we can be able to have an in-depth understanding of what the Pestel implies and how it affects the performance of organization. The first one is political forces or factors. Can I continue, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bless you. The political forces comprises of the government policy, activities and governance, the use of power, and some other related activities. These political forces that we are talking about, it has a significant impact on the performance, success, and failure of organization. The political factors that we are talking about talks about the government governance. It talks about constitutional provisions and how the government abide by these constitutional provisions to better the life of the society. and create an enabling business environment for companies. This is a scenario that is difficult to achieve in Nigeria. The political forces comprises of compliance to regulatory authority and diversification of the economy. But when you look at it, people that sit or sat at the corridor of the power, they are subjected to strategic myopia because nothing is working. The economic situation in Nigeria is not diversified. Don't let us deceive ourselves. We still rely unduly on crude oil at the neglect of other productive sectors like mining, agriculture, transportations, and other things. So the political forces, people at the top of the political governance in Nigeria, they have been able to turn C into C. They turn corruption into culture. With the amount of money that runs to millions and billions that they will have invested for economic viability of this country is being diverted into their pocket to enrich their pocket for them to remain in power and enslave the citizen. All because they abuse the power, they abuse the constitution, they don't put people first. And that's the reason why Nigerians find themselves in this present situation, where the rich also cry. All the sectors, virtually all the sectors that we have is decaying. Educational decay, talk of it. All the sectors. I can tell you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 multinational companies that left this country within the space of 2 or 3 months now. And this one will create another lacuna problem of unemployment. It will even affect the revenue the government is generating in terms of tax. So the political forces comprises of all the related forces that affect the well-being of the country, that affect the well-being of the citizen and that of corporate organization. Next to that is economic forces or factors. The economic forces or factors are things that we live with. We need not cram here. And let me use this opportunity to inform you that there are 2 ways in which I can set question on pestle analysis. The first one is to set a direct question, which in most times occur like that they will tell you to succinctly state it or discuss comprehensively on the external uncontrollable forces affecting the performance of Ayelabo Nigeria Limited. Then you have to write comprehensively on your understanding of the case scenario given to you. But in that case, please, you don't have to bring too much of foreign solution to the case scenario. Because in the short case scenario or lengthy case they give you, they will have stated the history of the company to you. Like for instance, the company commenced business activities in so year, and by that time, the company have limited number of customers. They have not really expanded. They are still at the initial stage of the company's life where they use entrepreneurial strategy. So the company at that time may not really have much of the extended product line or portfolio. Over time, The company performed excellently, that they have expanded and diversified into so many areas. And this company have received a lot of accolades within and outside the country. They have achieved landmark results. The company achieved high return on investment, and to date, or in recent past, was one of the market leader in the competitive market. However, of recent, the company is experiencing a downturn in performance, which resulted to loss of customers, loss of major competitive markets to their competitors, reduction in sales and returns, loss of product market share, and difficulties in attracting potential customers and investors. All these challenges are attributed to harsh economic conditions, unfriendly government policy, and ravaging insecurity in the states where the company is operating. You can see the way I framed that question. So all these things will be provided. The challenges facing the company will be there. So anytime you are being advised to give expert opinion or what strategic approach can the company use, first of all, use the answers that we have in the case study. Pick all those challenges, those ones that are favorable, those ones that are not favorable. So what you have read, you apply it to that case study. Not that you now be bringing foreign material, everything you've read online, in Google, in some textbook. No. Always look at what the examiners is looking for. Identify the strengths and challenges provided in the case study. First of all, provide that before you put additional things. Please take note of that. And at times you might be fortunate that they will just ask you to discuss on your understanding of the external business environment using Pestel and Porter-Zamon's theory. Then you can satisfy yourself. But if you have a case scenario, use part of the solutions that we have in the case to provide answer. So let's proceed. Economic forces or factors. The economic forces are external to the organization, and they are capable of guaranteeing companies opportunity. They are capable of enhancing organizational success, and at the same time, they can cause organizational failure and declining performance. The forces in the economy that determine the success and failure of company under the Pestel analysis are taxation. Most companies are crying. Majority of them find it difficult to break even, not to talk of making excessive profit, all because they are faced with the syndrome of multiple taxations. This multiple taxation drain the company. We have inflation. You can see presently in Nigeria, I don't know the kind of inflation we should call this. Maybe it's hyperinflation or galloping inflation. We are experiencing presently hyperinflation. And that's the more reason why 10,000 naira now is now equivalent to 1,000, because the money have lost the value. The purchasing value is not there. There is a persistent increase in the cost of products. The way the consumers are crying, and what I buy today, 2,000, is now 7,000. That's the way organizations are complaining to. The cost of importation, the cost of manufacturing, because all the costs of the inputs, raw materials are increasing every day. And the company might not have opportunity to increase the price of their product every day because they will lose their customers to competitors. And the very reason why some of them now, they either reduce the quality of the product or the size of the products to avoid persistent increase in the price. Foreign exchange is there. Try to look at the exchange rate for naira to dollars, naira to pounds. Unemployment is part of the economic forces. The interest rate, we discourage a lot of investors that will borrow money, come into their business, create employment and other business ability. Irrespective of the level of risk appetite that you have, the interest rate is discouraging a lot of investors. Nobody wants to borrow money from banks. Supply of money is there. The invisible hands, they are part of the economic forces. The invisible hands refers to the forces of demand and supply. All these forces, they are the major determinants of organization performance, survival rate, success, and failure. Next is the social factor. The social factor here that we call socio-cultural forces comprises of the combination of social and cultural effects on the company business. And this serves as a major example of what I gave you, the adaptability of McDonald's in Asia to the cultural diversity of the citizen. So the social factor makes us know that no company has the control over the lifestyle, buying or purchasing habits of the customers. And that's the reason why companies always persuade their customers to buy. Irrespective of your aggressive approach, in fact, you are not even expected as a trained accountant, as a trained marketer. It is only the peddlers, the untrained marketers that use pressure sales. If company is doing adverts on social media, digital platform, or what have you, face to face, you appeal to your customers and emphasize your product features, the product benefits, and what the customers deserve to gain. At the same time, give reassurance of hope if there's possibility of after-sales services and the rest. That's the only way you can win customers and encourage the customers to exhibit repeat purchase to buy again. So the socio-cultural factors comprises of factors that influence the purchase intention of the customers favorable towards the company's products. The social factors comprise of factors that affect the company's strategic policy and performance. Among the socio-cultural factors are influence of religion, influence of culture. I've had religion for you. What I'm adding, I've already added it. Influence of religion, influence of culture, family influence, the purchasing pattern of the consumer, the lifestyle of the consumer. Nobody has control over it. They are major determinants. The norms, beliefs, values of the customers, the organization philosophy. All these things are what we call the socio-cultural factors that affect business activities. So the next is technological factors. In the area of technology, we need not be told that Nigeria relies solely on borrowed technology. The level of our technology and innovation in this country is below A, meaning that it's below par. Majority of companies, organizations cannot beat their shares. They have to go into strategic alliance with some private companies or foreign counterparts for them to be able to achieve their areas of deficiency in terms of technology. Well, government is not doing anything to support most of these companies, individuals in the area of technology. Look at what we have across the globe. Technology has revolutionized business activities. In the automobile industry, go to Dubai and see what the likes of Tesla, Rolls-Royce are doing In the area of banking industry, construction industry are minimum. So government still needs to invest heavily in the area of technology and innovation. That is the only way Nigeria can become an industrialized nation. Even for companies that want to ship in some latest machines and the rest, all this exorbitant amount of importation and the rest is enough to discourage a lot of companies in staying in Nigeria. Unstable light, without stable light, we cannot become a technology-driving nation. Then we still remain as a developing nation. So technology is a major problem.
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Hello?
Hello,
Hello?
sir.
I'm sorry, the network fluctuates. Can I continue now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay. So we are saying that Nigeria still remain a developing nation, all because of low level of technology and import syndrome. We believe and rely slowly on importation of virtually everything. My brothers and sisters, when you get home, you can check up to toothpick, matches. We import matches from Indonesia. There's nothing that we cannot import. Pencils. That shows our level of low technology and innovation. And any nation that is not technologically driving, then the companies and the citizens in that country will suffer it. Nigerians are gifted. You and I are gifted. But when you don't have the enabling environment and support to showcase this talent, then it remains a brain drain and thing of concern. So lack of technology decline business performance. If you are to borrow this technology from another country down to Nigeria, then it will increase the operational cost of doing business. Coupled with the fact that we have unstable power supply. Even the few electric power supply that we are having now, they want to kill individuals and companies with high tariffs. And this one is part of the reasons why majority of companies are leaving Nigeria to another neighboring country. So next we have ecological factors. The ecological factors that was named here as environmental forces. I will do that. I'll do that correction for you. Ecological factors. The ecological factors can also be called demographic forces or factors. Why is it important? How come ICANN said we should understand the significance of ecological factors? That is also called demographic factors under external business environment using PESTEL. It's because the ecological factors comprises of some indices or parameters, some variables that affect government, individual, and government and company performance. For instance, some of the variables under the ecological or demographic factors are birth rates and death rates. Birth and death rate is there. Population size and density is there. Immigration and immigration is there. Climatic conditions.
Sir, please, the network
as
is breaking.
minimum.
Please come again, sir.
The
Your network.
network is breaking. Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Okay. I said the reason why the ecological or demographic factor is important is because they guide government policy in the area of fiscal and monetary policy. In the area of budgetary provision, we consider it. In the area of business location, we consider it. Because the ecological or demographic factors that we are talking about comprises of the population size and density, the geographical location of certain nations, is comprised of the migration, immigration, and immigration. It even covers the variables like climatic conditions, death rate is there, and birth rate. Death and birth rate is there, security is there. So all these things are things that a meaningful government with good governance consider when they are making provision for budgets. These are the things that we consider in making provision for infrastructural facilities. For a company that wants to locate their company outside their immediate boundary, they want to expand, go into market expansion, they consider all these things too. Because anywhere you want to site your company, be it headquarters, branches, or what have you, must be area that is densely populated. And that area too must guarantee optimal security and safety. Do you get it? But when you look at some parts of Nigeria now, the northern parts and some eastern parts, all those areas are not safe for business. All because of the high level of insecurity, ranging from kidnapping, I saw so many of them that you consider. And this one now make it difficult for you to achieve any meaningful business there. Because it paralyzed business activities. The consumers there that you even want to sell to, the money on them, they are not ready to use it to buy meal or biscuit or bread. That money, they have precautionary motive for spending the money. Because anytime they can migrate out of that place due to insecurity. No investors will come to that area. So these ecological and demographic forces are what the advanced companies are using to make provision for their citizens and increase the life expectancy. So with the ecological and demographic factors, they can be able to make provision for those that are even not working. They still have a certain amount of money that government paid them. So all these things, we don't have data. When last did we do population census in Nigeria? Even the one they are proposing before the former president left the seat, they don't do it. And to my surprise, the exercise that did not take place, the censor board said that they have spent, was it not about 6 point something billion naira, which the upper and the lower house was investigating. The investigation has not seen the light of the day. You don't do census and you say that you have spent 6.2 million as pre-expenses for preparation for the census that was not carried out. That is Nigerian for you. So we dwell in workshop and it makes it difficult for this company to move ahead. So the last alphabet that I can say we should look at is L, which is legal forces of factors. The legal forces of factors comprises of government policy, laws, government provisions, constitutional provisions, code of corporate governance. Hope you can hear me clearly, please. Hello, can I continue?
Please repeat.
Okay, because sorry, it's the network. It's the network. So the legal forces comprise of the government laws, policy, regulations, the pricing policy, the CBN regulations or directives, Bofia law is there. You can add Bofia law. That's Bofia Act. Bank and other financial institution act. Agency laws. All these laws and provisions are made to provide a conducive climatic business environment. All these laws are there to guide us as a citizen, to guide us as a business entity, so that we are going to achieve compliance to all the stipulated regulations to better our business and relationship with the investors and customers. So the legal forces at times can be beneficial to the company, and at times it might not be beneficial to the company. Let me give you one scenario. I think it was in 2020 or 2021. I cannot say precisely the diet, but I can set question on this external business environment. And they are now expecting the student to use personal analysis to provide solutions. So when I read the case, in that case, the companies operate in a technologically driven business environment, and they are doing extremely very well. That's why the challenges in the business environment. But one that created problem for the company is the pronouncement by the government. That pronouncement that the government made in that country favor the new entrants, foreign companies. It will attract new entrants to the industry, and that one will create a problem for most of the local industry. The government pronounced that any foreigners and multinational companies that come to their country, they are going to give them at least minimum of 6 months tax holiday. And by the time they want to continue paying tax, their tax will be reduced to 5%. They are ready to give them a lot of support and so many other attractive things in order for the country to attract foreign direct investment and multinational companies to come to their country. That kind of policy, people will clap for the government. A lot of people will be smiling, but no local company will be happy because that policy is not favorable to them. It will expose them to direct competition with foreign mighty companies that have resources, superior product quality. So in the legal factors, they can give you such a case scenario like that. Do you get it? So we have to take note of that. So that is what we call pestle analysis. So having looked at pestle analysis, let's scroll down. Let's quickly look at Porter-Simons theory in the next 26 minutes of director that we have. It's not difficult. Please go to Porter-Simons theory. If you are there, you just signify, let me know. Porter-Simons theory. Hello? What do you say?
Yeah, there, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, the Porter-Simons theory. Okay. Thank you. Adesakin Sheyi, thank you. I can see your hands. Okay, bless you all. You see, the Porter-Simons theory, let me simplify it. I've told you the way Amanda will go about the lecture in equity, we lecture to bring the course down to you in a way that you can easily recall. You have that retentive memory. Not our lecture style is not towards just doing the exam and forget. No. We build a future, we build an institution. We relieve you of the fear, CSME, PISA, this and that, what have you, SFM. When you come to equity, you are going to see qualitative lecture that is tailored towards your sources, and it's beyond exam. It's beyond passing like an exam and forget it. No. This thing must be part of you. That things that you must recall for so long to better your own personal life, add value to your business and that of the organization where you are working. So what do we call Porter's diamond theory? The Porter's diamond theory that we are seeing is also called national competitive theory. Originally, that was the name and title the scholar Michael Porter gave to this particular topic, national competitive theory. But because of the conceptual diagram that he gave, that diagram, when you draw it and you make it smaller, it will look like diamond. And that's the reason why people started calling it diamond story, diamond story. So it gives you a lot of popularity. Be it we call it Porter's diamond theory or national competitive theory. What is the theory all about? The Porter's diamond theory was formulated by Porter to explain the reason why some companies gain both local and international competitive advantage. But there has been a lot of unending debate that how come some companies, particularly the born global firms that just started business, locally they will be doing very well, and before you know it, such company will go to international community to participate in international trade, and they will be doing far more better. They adapt quickly. They even have edge over some existing companies they meet in the international market domain. Why? What is the secret to that? To provide solution to that debate, Michael Porter now said the reason why such companies are doing very well is because the company adopts and utilizes 4 major interrelated forces that we call diamond theory. Michael Porter said any company that effectively utilizes these 4 forces or factors, irrespective of where you operate, be it in the domestic market or international market, such company will perform excellently. And they are going to have a resounding competitive strength over other existing companies. And please note, this particular topic that we are treating, let me tell you from the beginning now. In your exam question, ICANN can decide to set question on this topic using a country. You can just name one country, formulate the country, or they direct the question on a company. You can see the title, National Competitive Theory. Reason why some companies or some countries, nations, are doing better than another. So to cut the story short, Michael Porter said there are 4 forces or factors that give company both local and international competitive advantage. Those forces are 1. The number 1 is firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Is that the first thing that gives you domestic and international global competitive advantage is the firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. 2, factor conditions. Factor conditions. 3, demand conditions. And 4, support from related companies. Support from related companies. Hope I sound clear to you. Support from related countries. The first factor that we have, that the scholar said, if that factor is put in place and effectively utilized, then the company will gain both domestic and international marketing advantages, firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. What is the meaning of that? What Porter is simply saying there is simple. He said any country or company that have good organization structure, Any company that have good structure and they formulate, implement, evaluate, and control their strategy, such company or nation are bound to succeed in any form of investments that they have. He said any company, individual firm, or country, any government that puts in place good structure, strategy, they succeed better than those ones that did not do those things. And to now cap it all, he said any country and any company that pay attention to their competitors, rival, that's the reason why you see rivalry there. If you pay attention to what your competitors are doing, the product they are producing, the performance of their products, their level of innovation, their strategies that they roll out, the price of their products, the customers buying their products, that any individual that do what we call environmental analysis, you analyze your competitors, you do competitors analysis, you put in place a good structure and strategy, such company will perform excellently. So, ability of the stakeholders and the investors, the board of directors, to put in place a good structure, organogram, communication networking, alliance, good reporting style, and feedback provides significant positive effect for the company. When we now have good structure and good strategy in place, can be financial strategy, not financial strategy, then we pay attention to our competitors, then such company perform excellently. The second one that the scholar mentioned is factors condition. In some textbook, they will put it as factors conditioning. That is something that is continuous. What does the factors condition mean? Hello? Hello? Can I continue?
It says factors or what?
Yes, factors condition. And I told
Yes, sir.
you factors condition. Factors condition. And I told you that in some textbooks or study material, you will see they put as factors conditioning. Instead of condition, they put ing in front of that, it's still the same thing. That the reason why they put conditioning is that activities, what you are doing must be continuous. It's not a one-off strategic approach. No. What does the factors condition mean? According to Michael Porter says that there are two types of factors condition. There are two types of factors condition. We have one, basic factor, and two, advanced factors. He said we have two types of factors condition. The first one is basic factor, while the second one is advanced factors. He said any company that utilize either one or two of these, then you perform, be it in the local or international community, you perform excellently. What does the basic factors mean? He said the basic factors comprises of the natural gifts of the nation. All those gifts that God gives us naturally. The natural resources that government endow us with. That comprises of land, labor, crude oil, population, because population is a blessing. Look at what is happening in Asia. China, Japan, whatever, they put in use effectively. They are increasing population. That gives them all different categories of entrepreneurs. different form of workers, skilled, semi-skilled workers, unskilled workers that make significant inputs in driving the economy of the nation. Now they are forced to be reckoned with internationally. But in Nigeria, our population is a cost to us because it is not effectively utilized. So a couple of days now, some new NYSC did their personal parade. They said they are coming to the labor market that is already congested and saturated. No job. The increasing population is supposed to be a blessing. When you go to Korea, you go to Iran and the rest, they are increasing population. Give them a strength in terms of military base. So our own population here, we are not using it. So the basic factor that God gave us, cocoa, crude oil, and some other resources, are they effectively utilized in Nigeria? No. Gone are those days that Nigeria is using all these things effectively. That we are known globally in terms of area of cocoa. We use that one to do comparative cost advantage. We export cocoa, sell it. Those things that we lack here in terms of electronics, we can be able to buy it from Japan and the rest. Do balance of payment deficit problem and solve it. But we are not doing that now. The only resources that we have is now relent on, which is crude oil. Imagine the crude oil. We have the resources here. We take it outside to go and refine it. Is that a good policy? The money generated for this, what are we using it for? So Qatar is saying that any nation or company that finds herself in a country that is endowed with all these resources, and all those resources are effectively utilized, such company or country, they will perform very well. Look at, for instance, France. France is blessed with some few resources, particularly soil. God bless them with different type of soil that support the growth of different type of fruits. They see this as a blessing from God. They leverage on all this soil, plant different type of fruits. After harvesting, they extract it, convert it to wine. That's the reason why they are the leaders, #1 country in the whole world in terms of wine production. No country gets closer to them. That's what we are talking about. So he said effective use of all these basic factors of land, labor, capital, soil, water, whatever, they give you competitive advantage. The second factor that I mentioned is advanced factor. The advanced factors now means the further investments that the company and the country do to better the resources at their disposal. That is the area where technology will come in. Technology and innovation will give us another foresight, orientation on how we can use all these resources effectively. Advanced factors, apart from technology, is the area of staff training, human capital development. When we train our staff, then we see the best out of them. Their efficiency and productivity will increase. Advanced factor in the area of research and development, new product development. That was what gave the likes of Tesla opportunity to bring out electric cars. It's an advanced factor that we are seeing the likes of 5G and the rest. It's investment in research and innovation. That is number one. Number two, okay, that's number two. Number three is we have demand factors. That's number three in Porter's Diamond theory. Demand factor. What does that mean? Porter is saying that those companies that we are celebrating, that they are doing very well, he said he congratulates them, all because they are fortunate in that there is increasing demand for their products. from the local market. That any company that is experiencing increasing demand for their product, such companies do better. Because it will get to a stage that the demand of the customers will surpass what the company can produce. This one will push the company to be more innovative. When the demand of the customers is more than what you can produce, this one will force the company to increase their production capacity and operating efficiency. So when the company have the ability to meet the demand of the customers and have excesses, it is this excess that they will take to international markets. And when they are taking this product to international markets, they have to ensure greater adaptability to the international standard in terms of quality of the products, the packaging of the products. The consumer preference in international domain will be quite different from that in Nigeria. For instance, in Malaysia, they are allergic to anything green in Malaysia. So if a Nigerian investor is exporting products to Malaysia, please don't package it in green, because people will not buy it there. Green is a symbol of disease in Malaysia. We have to understand the cultural diversity. And once you do that, it's then you do very well. That increasing demands push companies to be more innovative, to be more competitive. And the last one that we have is support from related companies. What I stress and emphasize then, that the reason why some companies are doing very well, the reason why some nations are doing very well is because they are receiving numerous support from different sources. Support from related companies. He said the support can come from the government. Like for instance, look at Dangote. It's not the best that we could have. One way or the other, government is giving all needed support, openly or on the ground. They create artificial monopoly for him. They kill some companies for his own company to thrive and achieve sustainability. So some companies gain support from philanthropists, from government, from NGOs, from multinational companies, from parent companies. Any company that gains support like that, such company perform very well. If they are able to utilize all the support they receive very well. At the same time, you must know that under this particular topic, you might be asked that what can governments do to nurture and sustain the growth of infant industry in Nigeria? To simplify that question that I asked you, it means that what can the government of Nigeria do for our own local companies to gain local and international competitive advantage? So what the government needs to do is that the government needs to provide a enable business environment. The climatic business environment must be favorable. It must be appealing. It must even attract foreign investment. Another thing that the governments can do, which is germane, very crucial, is constant electricity supply. That is number 2. Constant electricity supply. If the government ensure that electricity is stable, the supply of electricity is stable, then automatically you will discover a lot of companies will survive and grow. There will be limit to the number of investors living in the country. And at the same time, the government must ensure that they look inward critically into this issue of tariff. Last week, I was discussing with one of the investors that have hotel along Golgotha Rialto Hotel. The man showed me that he's paying 1.7 million naira monthly for electricity. Tell me, how can this man think of making profit? And that does not mean that occasionally, when the light was interrupted, they will not on care. So the electricity tariff is too much. At the same time, they have to eliminate or reduce. Elimination will be better. Multiple tax. For all this local and infant industry, that got started less than 2 years or what have you, we can give them a sort of tax rebate or tax holiday. Government should encourage exportation as against importation. We have to guarantee security. For this one too, drive away a lot of our investors. It's a profitable business now that people do to make money. All the farmers, they kidnap them, request for a ransom. Some might be fortunate they will release them after collecting the money. Some they kill them in the process. This one does not portray good image for the Nigerian government, and it's affecting our domestic business performance.
Hello, sir.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry for this answer. What is the initial question?
I said, what can the government do? What can government do to support the local industry in Nigeria? Can you hear me? Hello?
Thank you, sir. I've gotten it. I've gotten it, sir.
Okay. So government can ensure constant electricity supply, reduce electricity tariff, reduce multiple tasks. They can give tax rebate or holiday. Rehabilitation of road is there. That's the majority of the trailers. When they are going now, they enter portals. All their goods fell and destroyed. Many things like that. If government can do all these things and give them opportunity or access to loans, then you will see that majority of the infant industry in Nigeria too will perform excellently. So that's where we are going to end our lecture this afternoon. Do you have any question, please? So I put underneath some several questions for you to practice. And as I promised you, immediately after my lecture now, I'll go back to the material. So points that are missing there, I will enrich the note and be sent to the platform and delete the previous one. Any question, please? And all the topic is understood. If it's not understood, you can ask now, or after you have listened to the voice note, read the notes again. Our next class next weekend, you can ask me a question, or you want me to do a sort of brushing before we start a new topic. You can do that within 3 to 5 minutes. I'll go over it again, summarize it, explain what we have discussed, then we pick a new topic. Okay, in view of no question. Okay, what's that?
Environmental forces and ecological forces.
Ecological forces. Hello?
Ecological forces and environmental forces, are they the same?
Yes, but I will simplify that place. In the notes I will send now, I might put ecological and demographic forces. You know, under the person that we have 2 E's. Some authors we call it one economic force, the second one environmental forces. Do you get it? For it not to cause confusion, since we title the topic environmental analysis, so that environmental forces, we can put a bracket in front of it, put that is ecological or demographic forces. Because ecological forces is the same thing as demographic forces. The ecological forces refers to the external forces, external factors that create a lot of tremendous advantage and at the same time can pose series of challenges to the company. At times they can be favorable, at times they might be unfavorable. You get it? Like a good example of ecological or demographic forces that we call environmental forces is this rain. You get it? The expectation is high. All the farmers and water now, their curiosity level is high. That God, oh yeah, let's just rain be coming so that all their seed that they are planted will germinate. And that's really an area where they can make profits on their sweat capital, initial capital outlay. But if rain did not fall, then for that year, then automatically they are going to sustain a lot of losses. Even if the rain falls and is in excess, the downpour is too high, all the seed they planted will not germinate. Like for instance, beans doesn't need too much of rain to germinate. Ecological forces, climatic conditions that we mentioned is there. So to some countries, they have it in abundance. It's a blessing to them. Even in Nigeria, when you look at the northern part of Nigeria, they hardly have, they hardly experience or have downfall of rain. Anytime it's rain in a year like this, frequently they'll be celebrating. They experience more of droughts, as if they're in deserts. They experience more of the prevailing winds that comes from the Sahara Desert. So that's the reason why some of them are doing artificial drainage for all their planted things. So ecological forces too, I've showed you, covers population, the size of the population, the density of the population, the area where you want to site your business. Is it sparsely populated or densely populated? It is better you consider the area that is densely populated. And depending on the nature of the business you want to do, but that's what some people get wrong. I've had some areas, some people will invest heavily, but that area is not residential, it's an industrial area. This affected their sales. Security too, we have to consider it. So these are some of the things that we call ecological forces. The birth and the death rate, we consider it. Okay, another question, please. Okay, if you have no further question, can we call it a day? And I say thank you for choosing Equity as your choice tuition center. I wish you the very best of luck, and please, don't allow all these our notes to accumulate. Start reading now. This is 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour that you have to read. For some of us are doing 2, 3, 4 courses. You don't have to wait till the time the exam is closed before we start reading, subjecting our brain to stress. So I wish you the very best of luck, and God will continue to